Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Paul Purdue, and I am a nerd. So much a nerd that I don't know whether it's morning or afternoon. Let's start over. Good morning, everyone. My name is Paul Purdue, and I am a nerd. I apologize for being a few minutes late. We were having some technical difficulties with the GoToWebinar session. I am blaming illness. Leanne has a sick kid, so she's not moderating, even though her picture was appearing on the opening screen. Mary Jo's sick herself, so she's not here to help me. So I'm on my own, but we're going to still muddle through. Today we are looking at something called the Client Matter Access Portal. Let me give you a little bit of background. About 2 years ago, we helped a company called Proximity to interface their work tracker product with tabs. And what that meant was that we were able to have their product capture billable time that was spent on a cell phone or a smartphone, I should say, doing emails or texting or calling, plus time that was spent on a regular phone system in the office, plus eventually time that was actually just spent in applications on the desktop. It basically tracked everything you did and was able to pull that time into tabs for billing purposes. Very cool, but that's not what we're here to talk about. About, maybe a year, maybe 8 months ago, a client of ours in Chicago that is a small foreclosure firm came to us with a need to put information on the web for their clients. Now, anyone who's familiar with foreclosure work will know that the big banks have these portals that they've developed that you can go to on the web and sign in and push up to them information on your cases. And that's what you're expected to do with the big banks. You're expected to produce reports, or to simply log into their and push them to their portals, or simply log into the portals and update the status of each case as things change. This particular firm in Chicago dealt with small regional banks, and none of those banks had those portals. So instead what was happening was that they were constantly being inundated with calls from different people at the bank saying, what's the status on this case? What's the status on that case? What are we doing right now here? What are we waiting to do there? And so they would produce these, they called them litigation reports, and they would email them to the client so that when a client called, it would take about a half hour to produce the report, look what's going on, produce the report, email it to the client, and then move on with what they were doing. So they were losing a lot of billable time. And they asked us if we could develop something that would allow them to put that information out on their web for their clients to go see whenever they wanted to, 24/7. We got Proximity involved. Proximity developed this for them and now is releasing it for general release, and they call it the Client Matter Access Profile. In concept, it's very, very simple. You can take any report that you can write in the report writer in Practice Master, have it pushed up to the web on a predetermined schedule, and from that point, Proximity hosts everything. They host the portal, they host the creation of the users, your clients, and the creation of their accounts and their passwords. Everything is hosted in Proximity's infrastructure in their data center down in Florida. And what that means is all you have to do is install the connector, or get us to install the connector, it's called, get the reports that you want to push out to your clients written, and let it go. At that point, your clients can log in and see exactly what's going on with whatever matters they have access to. Now let's take a look at this. Let's go to the Client Matter Access Portal, where I already am signed in as Paul Purdue, who happens to be a client who is client number 10,000, and I have one matter, and I have that one matter down here, and I can see this report. Now let's back up for a second. Let's go over to Practice Master, connect to my desktop here, and let's get to a point where we can see this report. Now this is my Practice Master, and I'm in the contact file right now, but if I go out and go to the client file, here we have Scooby-Doo Incorporated. One of our clients, one of our best clients, came in from Corporal Edward Witherspoon, who is actually a ghost. If anyone's familiar with Scooby-Doo, they only deal with ghosts. And this particular client has some information, a note or two in this general box, has some notes over here about all the different things we've been doing over the course of this matter. They've got some fees that are pending and some costs. And they've got some people. Thelma Short and Shaggy Dude and Mary Jo Boyd, Leanne and Dan and Bill Perdue, my brother who's listening right now, and Paul Perdue. These are all people that are associated with this particular matter for Scooby-Doo. This is all standard Practice Master stuff. And so what we've done is we've written a report which shows up in the report writer and has a special name that begins with 0 underscore. And it's a client summary report. And if I print that, I'll show it to you. Oops. I can do the right thing, honest. It basically reiterates some details about the case, that generic note, the people involved, and the journal records. Very simple report. And this particular report I'm running just for that particular matter, although you can, of course, push these reports up to this client matter access portal for whatever matters and whatever clients you want to. By making it tied to the custom reports in Practice Master, Proximity has given us as resellers and as consultants the ability to write a report for you, or you to write a report for yourself with just about any bit of data, well, with any bit of data that's available to you through Practice Master. So here's this report that shows all the different details from Practice Master. Now, I just happen to be looking at it in Practice Master. And if we go over here to the Client Matter Access portal, over here to the Client Matter Access portal, here is that report online. I click on View File. It loads a PDF however your browser loads a PDF. And when we open that PDF as a client that's signed into this portal, that's not sitting at your office, not looking at this through Practice Master, there's that same report. So I have ACS-P Perdue, that's my username. I have the ability to look at this one matter. So when I sign in, I see only this one matter and only this one report, and it's out there for me. Now let's go ahead and log out. Let's sign back in just so you can see how simple this is. My username is ACS-P Perdue, and you can give your users whatever username you want. I will type in my password, hopefully correctly. It's hard for me to type and talk at the same time. I am a nerd. When we do, we see all the reports that are available to us. Now, I said you can write as many reports to show as many different things to whatever clients you want. So some clients may be able to see all their WIP fees. Other clients may be able to see all the journal records, all the notes. Other clients may be able to see this sort of client summary report like the one we're looking at here. Whatever reports are available are there for the client to click on. Then it shows which matters those reports are available for. And this particular client only has access to one matter. And we view the file, and just like we did before, we click on the PDF, and up it comes. That is how simple it is for your clients. They go to the portal, they sign in, they see the reports that are available to them, they click on the report, and then they choose the appropriate matter. Now, if we go back here, you will notice that when we're looking at the portal, we can search. So we could search for a particular matter. We can write these reports in such a way that the client could search for the report by their file number, not yours. You've got these, 10,000.00 as this particular matter for Scooby-Doo. Those are the tabs in Practice Master client IDs. You can also write these reports in such a way that they include searchable other data, meaning the client file number, perhaps the name of the matter, whatever it is that you want to embed into the report. Now, if we go back here real quick and run this report for Scooby-Doo again, we'll see that at the very top of this report, we have, I'm going to zoom in, we have this. This does not show up out on the Client Matter Access portal. This is how the Proximity portal knows which reports go to which people. This client is client 10,000, and they have been granted client-level access, meaning they can see any matter for client 10,000. I only have one. You can also go down on a matter-by-matter basis and say, well, this person who happens to be working for Scooby-Doo Incorporated can only see these 2 matters, while Thelma, who also works at Scooby-Doo Incorporated, can see these 7 matters that include the 2 matters that the other guy can see. Very, very definable, great ability to zero in on who can see what. Now, let's look at what that looks like from a more of a behind-the-scenes look. I'm connecting now to a different server, if you will, to our main server. And what we see right here, get rid of this Practice Master behind here, is how we configure this report system. You have to give it a proximity user that can log into Practice Master. You have to tell it where to find the cm.exe. That's the Practice Master executable file. You have to tell it something called the ODBC connection DSN, which is very nerd talk, so we won't even stop there. And most importantly, you tell it which reports you have in the system for users to be able to view and what the schedule is of pushing those reports out. Maybe you've told your clients that you can log into this portal and see client-specific information, matter-specific information that is as fresh as 24 hours ago. So you might set your reports to run every day at 5 a.m. Maybe you've told your clients that this one report is going to be updated every half hour. So you would set up a schedule that runs it every day, but you'd have, what's 24 times 2? Don't tell me. 48 different entries as to how many times a day that ran. And basically what happens, I'm just going to show you it starting. On this server, at the appointed time, Praximity opens up Practice Master, logs you in, creates that report, pushes this back up to the web, and then disconnects. Now, this does not run. This part of it here is the connector, and this is what pushes your data out from your server to the Proximity cloud so that your clients can access it. This typically goes on the server that has STI, that has tabs 3, that has Practice Master. This does not run on somebody's machine, and we do recommend it be running on a machine that's not really used for anything else. Now, the client that it was originally developed for, they have it on their server. And it sits there, and occasionally the computer guide may also be sitting there. So what will happen is it'll pop up while he's sitting there and say, hey, I'm going to run this report, and he can say, nope, don't run it, or wait 2 minutes, I'm almost done, or go ahead and run it now. And it'll start when it's told to. But if you have a server that gets a lot of traffic because there's different people doing different things on the server all the time, we'd recommend you just put in a separate machine to run this on. It doesn't have to be on the server. It can be on any machine that will run and connect to that data. Okay? Now, that is really it. You go to Practice Master, you define your reports. You can have anything show up in a report that you would use. Let's go into Practice Master real quick. Anything that you would see in Practice Master can show up in a report. So you could, for a client, run a list of all their cases and when their next action is, or all their calendar items that are coming up, or all their pending WIP fees, regardless of what matter. Anything that you can see in Practice Master. Now, be careful. Some of you are used to version 16 and its new Client Matter Manager. This does have a billing summary screen that shows you information from the trust account, information from aged accounts receivable that's coming from tabs, current WIP fees, current costs, amount due from a previous balance, the date of last payment, the date of last statement. This information is not really coming from Practice Master. So be careful. If you're looking to show your clients their bills or looking to show your clients how much they owe you total instead of just WIP fees and WIP costs, which have not been billed yet and which do live in Practice Master, this is not going to do it for you. This will not connect to tabs and pull out accounts receivable information or previous statement or previous payment information or any of that information that you'd find in tabs. Only the information that's available in Practice Master. So it's not for people that are looking to put billing and accounting information out on the web, although we find that typically what people are looking to put out there is more case status, matter status, court calendars, things like that, things they want their clients to be able to log in 24/7 and see. Okay, now there is a little box that's on your screen over to the right, and it's got a hand button that you can click on to raise your hand, and it's got a also the ability to type questions. So if anybody has questions, now is the time to ask them. I do not see any in there. And if anybody wants to actually be unmuted and actually talk and ask a question, you can raise your hand. And I'm looking, but I don't see, I do see Bill Perdue has his hand raised. So let's see what we can do about unmuting him.
Hi, Paul.
Hello, Bill.
Hey, I had a couple of quick questions. On the Access portal, can the description, are you limited in terms of the description you can supply to the clients, or can that include like a description of the case subject matter? Or
right now, it's the matter number.
Okay. So they would need a key to identify their matters.
Well, here you see the client name and the reports that the client has, but when you get down to the report level, it's showing you the matter number, and Scooby-Doo has matter 0.
Okay.
You can search. For instance, we could embed the case description into the header. That's that thing at the top of the report that, in my example, only showed 10,000 as being the client number. And they could search by that matter name, and it would then show me a list of matter numbers that match that description. But it wouldn't still show the matter. Of course, the thing you'd want to do is be able to search to a point where you only had one matter showing. However, Proximity is very open to suggestions on this. This is a new thing for them. They've only got it in a couple client sites right now.
Second question. Can the Proximity portal be accessed from a link on your own website? In other words,
can. It can be embedded. We're looking at the portal right here.
Okay.
And you can you could have a link to this that would just link to this login page over here.
So the client goes to your website and
correct.
Accesses the Proximity portal from a link on that website.
Yes, and this part of the header is also controllable by you, so you can put your logo information, whatever you want to call it, up here. The Powered by Proximity would still be there, but this part would be replaced by whatever you have.
Okay.
And then this can also be embedded directly into your website, depending on how sophisticated your web development company is. But it can actually be that instead of being transferred over to the Client Matter Access portal, when they click on whatever link in your website takes them there, it actually just opens up within your website. That's just a matter of how your site's coded. Does that do it?
Yep. Did you get my lawyer joke?
I didn't get your lawyer joke. I'll have to go look for that. Did you
sent
type it in?
In a message on Facebook.
Okay. Well, I'll be sure to check that out right away.
Okay.
Okay, we're muting Bill. Anybody else have questions? Raise your hand. Anybody else have questions and they're shy, go ahead and type them. Okay, one last thing I want to show you then. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. How much does it all cost? It's priced on a yearly basis, and it is priced based on the number of active users that use Practice Master. You may have users set up for conference rooms, and maybe users that are still set up for users that are no longer there, so they're not active, they're marked as inactive, they're not login users. We're only concerned with the people that are actually using Practice Master. And the portal alone is right over here. So if you had a 10-user firm, you would pay approximately $2,100 per year, a little bit less than $200 a month, not only to have this capability, but also for all the hosting and all the bandwidth. You can have as many users or clients of yours that are logging into this. There's no limit there. There's no limit to how many times they sign in and look at reports or anything like that. It's simply a per active user in Practice Master. So here it is, and I'm going to, when we email you the links, we'll try and include this in there. You'll notice also that they do have this Work Tracker product, and so they do have bundled pricing. we have the ability to bundle it together and get WorkTracker and the client portal, and you end up paying about 20% of the cost for the second thing that you're adding. So if you got the client portal and WorkTracker together, it would be just a little bit more than client portal alone. And just so you know, since this is new, they're trying to get it out there as much as possible. So the first 10 people that do put it in will get 20% off. That offer is only good for a few more weeks, but I think if you have an interest and we don't actually get it installed before the 28th, as long as we express that interest before the 28th, we should be fine. So I'll check one more time, see if anybody's got questions, and then we will be done. No questions there, and no hands raised. So thanks everybody for coming. We're glad you were able to take a look at this. We're very excited about it. We have several people that are looking at putting it in right now. It's, for some firms, it's the answer to many prayers, is being able to get information to clients without having the clients bug them. If anybody does have any questions after the fact, just shoot me an email, paul.purdue, like the school, not the chicken, P-U-R-D-U-E, paul.purdue@attorneycomputersystems.com. Thanks very much, everybody. Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.